Oh my gosh, I picked up one of my ukuleles I haven't played in like forever. And the puppies are in the other room, music room, looking at me like, what's that? They're just, one's head's this way and the other's head's this way, looking at me like, and Miss Lily's all concerned, her on her face, like, what's happening? What is that? I don't know. We're just going to sit in the other room over here and watch this. I haven't touched the ukuleles in, 3 years? 3 years at least. I have all my musical instruments in there. The only thing I've been doing was playing my Native American flutes. Maybe time to drag the cajon out and work on that. I have all kind of drums. All kind of drums. I have Middle Eastern drums. I have ones that you use for Scottish. I love to do the Scottish ones. That one's really fun. And cajones and djembes, and I got a whole musical thing. I mean, all sorts of instruments and things. So, yeah, I should get back to some of my other music once in a while. Not that I don't love Native American flute. It's so easy to take with you and things and pick up, and it's so soothing for people. So I have a tendency to stick with that at the moment. But I think I might drag out the cajon, one of the cajones, and just work on that a bit. I haven't done that for quite some time, so I've got to take off my rings. Can't use your rings when you're doing the cajon. Probably have to take off my bracelets as well. They may wind up getting in the way. We'll see. I'll go in and give it a try and things, but yeah. I should start dragging out some of my instruments. I do have that other weird one too. Now I've got to find where I've got it, but you put your hand in there and it does the vibration and the sound. It's very weird. It's a very, very weird thing. So maybe I'll have to drag that out later and things as well and work with it and see. But, yeah. So, yeah, for those that don't know, I come from a musical family as well. My father was one of the first country western swing bands. He'd been playing music since he was young, and they performed. They had a what do you call it? A presidential thing. They played for one of the presidents. Okay, command performance type thing. I forget what you call it, but they did play for one of the presidents. And he had a fan club, recorded for Columbia Records way back when. So, yeah. So I do come from a musical family. Now, when I was growing up, I wanted to learn to play guitar. My father just throws me a book and says, here, go learn. The only thing he gave me was, this is a chromatic scale. That's it. F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E. That's chromatic scale. When you start, here's the how you play an F chord, and you go up, and then it changes with each fret. You go up the chromatic scale. and here's a B flat. You go up, chromatic scale, and it changes each one, and that's basically it. And he didn't want to spend the actual time to teach me. He figures, I had to learn it on my own. You're going to learn it on your own. That's it. So, yeah. It's kind of the way it was. So, my mother played stand-up bass. He taught my mother to play stand-up bass. I guess my father played bass. He would do slap bass, would stand on the bass and play slap and did all those crazy things when he was doing performances and stuff like that. And I guess he also played piano, although I never saw that. I never, we didn't have a piano or anything in our house, but as I understand, he could play piano as well. And they had a group, the 101 Ranch Boys, and they got their group. One of the band members is Cherokee, and they were from the 101 Ranch. It's a huge ranch in Oklahoma, and his mother was, of course, Cherokee Indian, and she's the one that gave him the name. Well, why don't you call it the 101 Ranch? So that's what they did. That's how they got their name. And the fiddle player was named Cliff. He was the Native American. And then he had was Zimmer. What was his first name? He did very well. I remember Zimmer played the steel guitar, and he also worked with Jacques Cousteau. Okay, so yeah, they had some interesting people in the band playing. So yeah, it was, I came from that type of background. My mother had a beautiful voice, a nice range, very, very nice voice, very pretty voice. So that's kind of my background, musical background. Yeah, I sang once in church. I sang the Lord's Prayer. And the music director afterwards came up and said, you need to do the San Francisco Light Opera. I was like, it took me aside and did some scales, everything with me, and said I'm a natural coloratura, which I had no idea what that was at the time. But I never tried out for the San Francisco Light Opera because I was very insecure about everything when I was young. Very, very insecure. And I go, yeah, me, light opera, me, no. My father did not like my voice because I have more of an operatic type of a voice. It's not really country western thing, and his whole thing is country western. So it was always, kind of like, you can't sing, that type of feeling. Although I did sing with them once in a while. And the worst thing was when I was a kid, they would come sometimes, and we moved all the time because of the musical. I went to, like 5 schools in a year when I was real young. And so they would come play a benefit at the school and then call me up to come sing. I was so embarrassed. And then he had a radio show, and he had me sing on the radio show, Que Sera, Sera. Again, I went to school, and we heard you, and I was so embarrassed again. It was like, oh my God, my worst nightmare to be called out and stuff for that. So, and then my other real crazy thing that happened in my life, caused a riot. I almost caused a huge riot. It was the black musicians, union, and they were benefiting the person that wrote the song, and I happen to have a high voice. So they had me, I was singing with them. Of course, I'm the only white person in the place, and it almost caused a riot. They were incensed that they had a white singer singing with them. So yeah, reverse discrimination. They almost had a riot because I was in there singing, you know. It's that song, That's the Way I Like It. You know, so they wanted me to sing with them because I could do that part easily. I had no problem with it, you know, those real high notes and stuff. But I almost caused a whole riot there. I didn't see anything wrong. They didn't see anything wrong with it. We're doing music. But man, the black musicians there, they were really unhappy with it. Oh, my Lord. The craziness. You know, I've met different people along. Now, I remember, you know, my parents would play music and people would come over and practice with them. They had a basement. They would come over. They had this one woman. She had these long fingernails, bright red, and she played lead guitar. And I mean, her fingers would fly on it. And I was just mesmerized. Oh my God. She was really good. I don't know how she ever did it with those long fingernails, but she was really good playing. And I met people like, you know, Ernest Tubb and Smiley Burnett and things like that. And my father, he had a voice if you listen to his things, he sounds really, really similar to Gene Autry. And they look very similar as well, my father and Gene Autry. Now, Gene Autry had this show, had that TV show, and at one point they wanted to bring my father in as his brother. Well, you know, Gene Autry nixed that in the bud. So there was my dad's big opportunity that went right out the window, and he was never thrilled with Gene Autry from then on. Now, my father growing up, he was very good at a showman, but he was a narcissist, okay? He was not a good father, you know, absolutely not. It was a horrible for being a father. I don't think he should have had children. You know, but he was very good with his musical things. I have to give him credit for that. But again, he was horrible father. But yeah, you know, you look back on it, but in one way, it was really beneficial because I didn't have any support. Family support at all, absolutely none. So that caused me to go within and start my spiritual path early. Okay, without that, if they would have been a very supportive family, maybe that would have never happened. Okay, so I have to look at it as a benefit in the end. So again, you know, that's one of those things you can go on and grouse and my family didn't love me and boo-hoo-hoo and, you know, but, you know, you can look back on things later and see the dynamics and how it made changes to your life and propelled you to do other things in life, okay? So yeah, that's some of my crazy background stuff. But oh my God, yeah, no, I was so embarrassed. Yeah. Now I did sing with them once in a while, okay? I sang, you know, country roads. They would go play these things, and once in a while I would go up and sing with them. And my father and I used to do a duet. It was a Johnny Cash song. I'm trying to think what it was. Can't think of what it was at this moment, but we used to do a duet once in a while. Yeah. And then my mother would sing North Wind, and beautiful voice when she sang that song. It was just absolutely lovely. So anyway, that's my crazy, some of my crazy background growing up. My father would have been a Trumpite. Yeah, he would have been. He was that type of a person. Very judgmental. He was very, he didn't like people of color. To say that is minimal. I mean, a person of color would come on the TV and he'd scream at the TV. That's how bad it was. And that set me up to know, you either buy into it fully or you say, that's absolutely not ever what I want to be. And in my case, I see him and just this hatred of anybody that wasn't white. I just like, oh my God. Now, as you know, my daughter's half Chinese and my son is half Puerto Rican. And my father actually said to me, what's wrong with you? Can't you get a white man? Yeah, he actually said that. Now, my brother married a Korean woman, and that was the best thing that ever happened on the planet. True story. So, yeah, that's kind of some of my background stuff. When I saw him, the way that he would act and view other people, it was disgusting, okay? It was absolutely disgusting. And like I said, he was totally a narcissist, and he would have been a Trump supporter 100%. Oh, yeah, for sure. And that just gives me the creeps, okay? Absolutely gives me the creeps. So anyway, I don't know how this went off on this tangent, but it did for some reason. Maybe it'll aid somebody out there. I don't know how. But, we come in and we may have gifts. But again, you may come from a background where your gifts are downgraded, downplayed, and so you need to look at it and not buy into what is said by those naysayers. Go forward and find your gifts and use them. And just know that, some of the things I see with their background, again, it's about forgiveness. That what they are telling you comes out of their own drama. It has nothing to do with you. Usually as a child, it has to do with their own failings, their own drama that they have not handled, okay, that are skewing their perception, and you become their target, okay? You just become their target, but really it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with their failings and their craziness and things that they are not handling in their own lives that they project onto others. Just as you see Trump projecting all this stuff, especially onto Kamala now. She's stupid, she's this, she's that. Well, that's his failings. It's not her failings, okay? She's absolutely brilliant, but we see him projecting that onto her. And that's what happens in families, especially if you are living with a narcissistic individual. They will never accept their own failings or look at themselves in any sort of a way. They just go into that shell and project all their hatred and all their failings onto others. So maybe that's why this has come out today, about also the topic today was forgiveness, okay? But know that if you are in those situations and you have somebody that's doing that type of drama, know it's their own failings that they are projecting. Okay, they haven't handled things in their own lives, and so they want to project it onto somebody else. So that's it. I think I'll leave that here. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you online.